Welcome to the Moosehead Studio and Soundcheck, the very, very, very first episode of Soundcheck or the Metal Moose Radio Show that is 100% instrumental. Today, we pay homage to the mighty guitar. And also, it's an interesting show because this is one of those shows I talk a lot about the kids and how I want to show kids older metal and show them where their music came from. Today's one of those days where I went a little bit into the kids' world, and I show my age because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about the djent or whatever the hell you call it thing, the metalcore, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those areas that, I've heard flavors of it in music that I like, and you could go back to, Meshuggah and yada, 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 a lot of things and say that it's been around for a long time, but there's a whole damn subgenre of a bunch of amazing crap going on that I did not catch the boat on. So today, whatever it is, wherever you're listening from, we're going to listen to a bunch of guitar noodling and some really, really cool new people, or new to me anyway. And then not all of it's djent. Some of it's just rock and roll, hard rock, instrumental, but there's a whole serving of djent coming along. So yeah, just buckle up, and if you like the guitar noodling, as my mom would say, the noodling, the wankery, if you like that, so you're going to love this, because I like it a lot, and it's smart music, a lot of the progressive djent music, and then you just got your good old jam, hard rocking instrumentals. I love all of it. So I'm guitarded. There is no doubt about it. So hopefully we'll continue to do these on a regular basis as we get more music in. I really had to hunt down hard to find enough to fill up a whole show this time, which is crazy because there's a lot of it out there. But that's one of the things about the djent community. They don't really see eye to eye with quote unquote metal people. So they kind of ignore me when I'm like, hey, I'd love some of your music. And they're like, okay, you're old and you like metal, so get away from me. It happens, man. We'll find some people that want to get involved. Coming up first is a band that's way popular, and I love them. I Built the Sky off their B-Sides album on Soundcheck.
The Moose Rocks Canada.
So, going around and trying to search out some of this music, I Built the Sky and Sea in the Sky. Those two bands, pretty phenomenal. And that little I Built the Sky thing off of the B-sides thing, it's like a little snid bit of just, anyway, yeah, that's almost like a prelude into a song. But I think that there are a couple things about this music. I really love listening to the different guitar tones. And of course, a lot of these guys use, 8-string guitars, but the tonal quality, and the production value is also very intelligent. It's the textures and listen, here's something else that I think is really, nobody will admit to this, but I think a lot of the metalhead guys are like, that there had like feelings in it and emotions, and I'm going to go back over here and listen to some gore guts. It's okay to have emotion, man, and feeling in music. That's one of the things that, why I like bands like Agalloch and Catatonia, and Rapture, and I like emotion in my music, and it's kind of hard to find sometime in metal. But when you get right down to it, this djent stuff, or gent, I'm just going to call it gent. There's a lot of emotion in some of it. Some of it is just straight up technicality, and there's zero emotion, and it's just very sterile. But a lot of it has a good feeling in it, and man, I like that. This next band is a band that I've been into for a long time. They've been awesome enough to actually play Moose Fest for me like 3 times. Amazing. I remember when I first heard about this band, I was like, no, there's no singer in this band. What? Yeah, that's probably not going to be my favorite thing, because it was described to me as more of a rock and roll band with no singer. And I was like, okay, well, that's going to bore the snot out of me. And then I was introduced to Machine in the Mountain, and I went, oh my God, these guys are awesome. They were so amazing, my wife was even blown away. So, Machine in the Mountain with Architect, just hold out. And different than the first song, trust me, more, you're going to love it. Machine in the Mountain on Soundcheck.
with the Moose.
I think Machine of the Mountain is such an interesting thing. And I think that there are a lot of bands that are, they fit into more of the, like people said, like jam band, kind of a rock and roll band without a singer. But that is such a tiny little piece of what they do. They're an amazing, amazing instrumentalist band. And not to mention some of the greatest dudes on the planet. Is it something that, a gent kid is going to listen to and go, oh my God, that's amazing? No, because it's not. I don't think that they make music to try to impress people of their prowess. They make good music, and there's emotion and feeling, and it's just it's almost like driving music. You just put it on and you just kind of lean back and you're like, hell yeah, man, this is good music. And sometimes a lot of the gent music, you can't sit to it because it's so complex, and you got the polyrhythms and the strange tunings and just the way they flop around like a fish. It's just, you're like, oh my God, well, you're amazed by it, but it's not relaxing by any means. So Machine of the Mountain is just that kind of other side of it. They're just kind of watch us rip and throw some emotion at you, and it's good, just relaxing. I love it. It's so different in the means of it's not wankery, guitar music. Anyway, so I'm a huge fan, a big fan. So I think those are the only two bands that I've actually heard on the show. The rest of this, I've not heard them, but I'm excited to hear them. And so now it kind of turns into a normal sound check where I hear the song and I kind of give it a review. And which is going to be fun. And I know that there's some guitar craziness on here. I do know that. Being a fan of like Paul Gilbert and John Petrucci and George Lynch and, Michael Sweet and Yngwie, of course, just Vinnie Moore and Marty Friedman and all that. I'm just totally a guitar nut. So Ronnie Letekro is one of my favorite players. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he plays for the Norwegian band TNT. Super, super underrated. Jason Baylor from Saigon Kick, another great one. Gosh, man, of course, Jakey Lee, the Aussie players, the Dio players. Woo, Magenta. I think this is one of those, you got to think about it kind of a deals. On the sound check, let's get it on, shall we?
The Moose, Rocks, Colorado.
magenta there, throwing the fretworks all over the damn place. So I really like that. Once again, more of a feeling, and the guitar tone's so interesting to me. How little distortion they use in certain places, and they have that jazz kind of chordage in it. And so listen, I love guitar, and I play a little guitar, but I've never been on the level of that insanity. So if I say an incorrect term, you can let me know. But I love the feeling, the emotion, and I also want to give it up real quickly early on in the show to the rhythm sections in these bands. Trying to keep up with the OCD insanity of the guitar playing has got to be a daunting task. So I like it a lot. Towards the end there, some of the soloing went off key a little bit. Now, and I mean, don't get me wrong, not like a Dillinger Escape playing kind of off key, where it's just a chaotic. They played an off key phrasing in the end soloing, and for me, well, I was like, okay, that's not right, but maybe it was right, and I just didn't catch the insanity. That's kind of one of the things about listening to this. You're like, did they mean to do that? I think it's so well thought out, and I just can't imagine the hours of work it puts in. You know, it's like the first time you heard Rush, you were like, do these guys sleep? Or, you know, Dream Theater, what in the hell? You know, so it was good, man. I would wear a magenta shirt, and that's something that I would want to play to somebody who is aspiring to be a guitar player. Like, you know, this is something that you know, if you whip out this magenta song and play it for somebody, I don't know if it's going to, you know, get you laid necessarily, but your guy friends are going to be like, whoa, dude, that was nuts. Yeah, I don't know if chicks dig the instrumental dudes. I don't know. It's something I've never looked into. I'm kind of new to this world, like I said. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But I'm trying to branch out a little bit here for you. And I know that we got people that listen to this show just to hear the guitar players. And I'm one of them, man. One of my most favorite things is to listen for some standout guitar players when I listen to the music that comes in. And there's some great ones out there. And so this is kind of a new one. Like I said, I like that last song. It was good. This next one is Methymus. That meth? Really? Wow. That makes sense, I think.
This is James.
And this is Zach from
Tower.
Tower!
And you're listening to
The Moose!
Oh, right on. Thanks to the guys from Tower for being so lively there. What's going on, man? Soundcheck, the very first instrumental edition. Doing a little gent and jam band kind of instrumental, no vocal stuff. Guitar mania, being a guitar fan as I am. So I've been kind of wanting to do something like this for a long time. And just, I thought we're doing things a little bit different here with Soundcheck than we were with the Moose, so let's do an instrumental show. And wow, so what can you say about that? Another great example of extremely beautiful production, nice emotion in the tune, crazy guitar playing, well thought out patterns, really, really good. I like it a lot. It's kind of, man, the more I listen to this kind of stuff, it's a weird maybe analogy, but it's kind of like elevator metal. Does that make sense? It's just kind of almost jazzy and acceptable. It's really pleasing to the ear. It's just like if there was a heavy metal land, like when you got onto the elevator, it would be this kind of music, this guitar. And I love it because there's so many different types. Like we heard Machine in the Mountains is a different kind of guitar band, and then we get this whole gent thing going on. Later on, we've got some Second to the Sun, which is also very different. But yeah, to me, it's kind of the elevator music in the metal land. So I really, not like everybody in the elevator is looking at each other and going, I don't know what this is, but it's pleasing and it rocks. They just nod their head at each other and they're like, yeah, okay, all right. So, yeah, man, and then you get the really, smart kids with the thick rimmed glasses going, you don't know who that is? You suck. Transcendental existence. Yeah. Transcendental. I suck.
Rocks, Florida.
Transcendental existence. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to say at the beginning there, and I messed it up pretty bad. Transcendental existence. So yeah, that was good. Also very Muzak in its approach, very pleasing, more jazz-esque, more chord progression. And like I felt like there was some missed opportunity in there for some nice soloing. That's something I'd love to sit down and just noodle over, and which is another cool thing about listening to these kind of deals. If you sit down and try to exercise what's going on, you're going to get better as a player. And then sometimes you just do like me and look at those, and go, I can't do that. What in the hell just happened? I don't know if I can do that. Real quick, man, I want to say thanks to Melissa and everybody over at the Metalhead Box for your metal merchandising, memorabilia, coolness thing ever. Go to the metalheadbox.com. I'm subscribed. You should subscribe. You can get metal LPs, CDs, shirts, cool, just little patches and buttons and comic books. It's just the coolest thing ever. So I'm a total supporter of the Metalhead Box. No, they're not paying me to say this. I just think it's awesome. And they're awesome people and promote and love metal. So, and they're Canadian, and I'm a big fan of Canada because there are moose there, and also Canadian bacon and syrup, right? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to look past, the bare naked ladies and just give it up to Canada. So, yeah, man, this is Soundcheck coming to you from, I think I said Moosehead earlier. This was originally the Moosehead studio, but it has been deemed the Moose Pit studio. My good friend Dana Jade from Archdemon said I should call it the Moose Pit, and I said, okay, yeah, I could do that. But I called it the Moosehead for so long, every now and then it slips out. Moosehead, it just happens, which, there are copyright infringements going on there since that's a beer from Canada, have you? Anyway, so yeah, we're doing the instrumental thing tonight, which so far has been a lot of fun. I'm really curious to see how well this show does. I mean, I know that there are a lot of, guitar heads out there, but I don't know, because that's the one thing about this kind of music is that, your average Alter Bridge fan isn't like, yeah, man, I can totally get into some sweep arpeggios and some jazz polyrhythm. That sounds like nuclear science to them. So it's one of those things that it's, never going to be what I would call super mainstream. Of course, you've got your Steve Vais and Joe Satriani, who were incredibly successful at this. And then, Frank Gambale with the Chick Corea band, and they're out there. Steve Morse. There's a lot of the people that you listen to do this kind of music. They just don't. It's not their main thing. But for Satch and Satriani, it was. It still is, I guess. Satch is in Chickenfoot, though, right? Anyway, yeah. So the Levitated is the next one. I am interested to see where this goes because it's so different yet the same, and yeah, I'm just stupefied at this point by the craziness. The Levitated on Soundcheck.
The Moose rocks New York. Rocks New York. Rocks crew.
All right, the Levitated there. So that was there was some Korn new metal-esque kind of things there. I guess Korn being one of the bands that really brought 7 strings into existence into the popular music scene. Not that I would call Korn a instrumentalist band by any way, shape, or form, but they brought that low tuning up to the forefront with that B string. So, and a lot of these bands have moved on to, 8 strings, and Meshuggah has their 9 string and all that kind of stuff. That to me was more of a soundscape and more of a, like I said, kind of a new metal kind of. I get a little touchy on overuse of the do to get do. Okay, I mean, all right, guys, let's fill some space for me. I didn't dislike it. It just didn't have as much. I don't know, emotion, I guess is maybe the right word. Enough solo-esque kind of stuff, but I really liked the forming of a feeling. The forming, it's just like I said, it was a good soundscape-esque kind of a deal, almost a video game car chase kind of intense. Probably the most quote metal-esque thing we played so far. Pretty interesting, man. It was okay. I would need to hear more of that because I think once again there's a lot of opportunities in that for more things, but. It was a cool kind of like soundtrack, like a very short soundtrack, almost like a like a very video game-esque to me. That's just me. That was not a noodle fest to me. That was, we're going to create a vibe and a sound, and we're going to and listening to it on headphones is really cool because they bounce back and forth and use a lot of that's something else. There's a lot of elements in this music that is. Not as predominant in quote metal, with bass drops and weird guitar effects and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So that was kind of a new metal flavored deal, which it was okay. It wasn't. I wasn't like floored by it, but I liked the effort in making a soundtrack kind of thing. This next one. I can't say your last name, Alex Sevigny. I don't know. Yeah, that's Alex. I'm going to type it when I release the show so you can look it up there. If you're into this kind of thing, man, there's a bunch of it out there. And there's so much more I know there's some people listening to the show going, how did he forget this band or that band or that? Look, man, I found 15 and I thought we'll start with these and we'll go from there. And hopefully you can text in 424-666-7356 with your suggestions on more music like this that I can go find. We like unsigned music, if that helps any. So, yeah, your suggestions always welcome. Moose at the Metal Moose. Here's Alex something on Soundcheck. I don't know. All right, I can't pronounce your name, Alex, whatever your last name is. So, yeah, man, I was kind of excited there in the beginning of that. Had a little bit of the Holdsworth and Demiola kind of feel to it, jazzy, clean. When Alex broke into his very first distorted lead, I did not like the tone at all. I thought it was overbearing. I thought it was ugly for the tone of the music. And then when it broke into full production, distortion and breakdown, it was much better. But the original crack at distorted lead, did not like the tone. It was okay. That was a little gosh, I don't know how to put it. That wasn't overwhelmingly good to me. It was all right. I totally respect the dude's talent and what we got going on there. The drum machine too was a little rough, but a lot of these guys are doing this by themselves, so they have home studios and they don't have drummers, so I get it. Yeah, so not bad, not my favorite. This next one, I gotta be honest with you, I'm interested in. By the way, my name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit Studios here in Oklahoma City. This is Soundcheck. If you've never listened to the show before, please understand it's not always like this. Today, we're doing the instrumental version. Never done this before, so hopefully we can do more of these. Like I said, it just depends on if people send the music in, if people are interested in it. I mean, I could sit back and listen to this kind of music all day long, but like I said, I know it's not mainstream to be into, gent and tech instrumental stuff. There's been some bands that have pulled it off in the masses. Dream Theater and Rush, and even Metallica to an extent. Meshuggah, there's a lot of them out there. Dillinger Escape Plan can get a little wacky. There's a lot of them. Anyways, my point being, I know it's not a mass accepted form of music, so don't not come back to the show because you're like, I didn't like that show. It was all music. Yeah, okay, well, normally we have music with words and stuff, This next one, the guy or band or whatever is called God. I mean, that's kind of putting a lot of pressure on yourself. We talk about this on the show all the time. Your name, I'm going to expect a lot of things out of you when the name of your project is God. So hopefully God can rip and shred, because that's just if you're not good and you're called God, that's a bad look. It's a bad look. Be better, like God. Right here on the Soundcheck. Let's check it out. don't know that I'm ready to say that was godlike. It was good. It was another soundscape-esque one to me. Not a lot of noodling going on. A lot of layers, pretty thick, really nice production. I really liked the beginning, the intro, and the outro of the song, which is kind of odd. But the meat of the song was good and enjoyable, well played. The name God is a lot of pressure being put on there. But yeah, man, pretty cool. I'm not sure if I would wear the shirt or not. I'll throw probably a 2.5 taco rating at that. Not bad. We do rate things with tacos around here. And if I say I'll wear your shirt, that means I liked it enough that I would tell people about it. I would put it on my body, so when people are like, "Hey, Moose, can you recommend a band?" I can say, "Yeah, this band right here on my shirt." And so if I say I'll wear your shirt, that means I would be willing to tell people about what you do. So yeah, I think a little dreams of grandeur there, calling yourself God, but interesting, really nice. I think that's very soundscape-ish as opposed to a lot of the noodling that we have. But noodling is good as well. You could noodle all the hell over that track, and I'm sure that God can noodle. So no, that's not the fishing that you do with your hands. That's not what I'm talking about. Talking about guitar noodling. Yeah. Whew. There are people in the South that listen to this, and noodling is catching fish with your hands, and you stick your hand in a hole of mud and pull a fish out. I'm not going to do it. Atrium coming up right now on Soundcheck. We're going to check it out. Guitar stuff. It's cool, man.
Rocks, Oklahoma.
The Moose rocks Texas.
A little bit of Atrium there. Personally, that's like the first one on the show that I am going to come on and say that just wasn't for me. That there wasn't anything necessarily impressive about it. It was kind of basic, and I don't like. I didn't feel any kind of scene being set up for me. It was just kind of, I don't know, just that for me. Not working. Anyway, so this is Moose coming to you from the Moose Pit Studios here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on Soundcheck. If you're new to the show, welcome. It's not always like this. Normally we play songs with words, but we're doing an instrumental thing tonight. I listen to metal and I rate it kind of as I go along so you can find new music. And we do indie and unsigned bands 99% of the time. So it's new music that you've probably never heard before that hopefully you'll dig, and that's kind of my job is what I do, is to find new music for you, and telling you what I think about it is just part of the gig, because you may love it and I may hate it, so it happens sometimes. It does. Forgive me, man, my voice is really, I'm having a hard time. It's just having to drink a lot of water here, so I hate to sound so rough. Anyway, coming up next is a band called A.D.I.N. What are those things called? Not parentheses, but anyway, and an I in there. So, yeah, the song is called Spell 5.56. Interesting name. This is one of those situations where I say with a, crazy name like that, and the title of a song being Spell 5.56. I'm expecting a lot here. I'm expecting a lot out of you, because it's a fancy name and kind of technical sounding, space science-esque kind of a deal for me, or maybe some sort of a potion that a James Bond gives a bad guy. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm expecting a lot out of the A.D.I.N. What are those things called? The round. They're not parentheses. Anyway, it's one of those. That's where I'm at this evening. I have no idea. Of course, it's about 3:30 in the morning, so it happens in the studio late night, slaving over the microphone. Here's A.D.I. and those things. Yeah.
Get loose with the Moose.
This is James.
And this is Zach from
Tower.
Tower.
And you're listening to
The Moose.
All right, so A.D.I parentheses. It is parentheses. Anyway, yes. Yeah, it started out kind of promising as, random and chaotic, and then it turned into kind of an electro fest, kind of weird noise, fun on the headphones, for sure. But I don't know that there was a whole lot of enjoyable stuff going on there. I mean, like, one of the things I really like about this music is I feel like there's a lot of thought into it. It's very well thought out, and things are placed well in the production and all that stuff. But that to me was just, I didn't feel like there was anything super impressive about that. It was like I said, it was fun. The noises and stuff were kind of, quirky and interesting, but I didn't listen to that and go to myself, now this is some guitar dudes right here. I went, it sounds like somebody playing guitar that is into electronic music, and that is okay as well. Trust me, I love that, but for me, that was kind of a C, so I probably wouldn't wear that shirt. Not something I would probably recommend to a lot of people. And on the taco scale, we're looking at possibly a 2. It just, for me, there wasn't a lot of enjoyment in that. So it was okay. It was not too bad. What do you guys think about the show? Do you like this instrumental kind of gent thing? I want to do a prog instrumental show, gent instrumental, and maybe even just kind of jam band kind of thing, like Woodhawk. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them or not, but that's something. I kind of want to do the different phases. I'd love to do a shred show where people just rip and go off like crazy. Because that's one thing that so far we haven't run into that I keep waiting to hear is somebody just ripping like mad. So I don't know if that's against the gent rules. If you listen to Dream Theater, Petrucci does it very well. So, but I want to do a show with different, Gary Hoey kind of stuff. And just anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun listening to the music, and some of it is really, really super good. And some of it I'm just kind of like that last one was, I don't know if I would put that on my playlist or not. It was all right, but somebody out there may have loved it. So make sure and go find them on Facebook if you like it. For Tiori, I think. We'll find out here in just a second. For Tiori here on Soundcheck, this is Moose checking in with you, slaving over the hot microphone, completely naked under all my clothes. It's the guy with the perfect face for radio. That's right, it's me. From the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, this is Soundcheck. We're doing the all-instrumental show today, which is interesting, man. This is kind of because I love guitar playing. I'm a big guitar nerd, and I know that there's this whole new genre of djent and stuff like that. Instrumentals go way, way, way back. So I don't know. There was this guy named Beethoven and Vivaldi and stuff. Instrumentals are timeless pieces. That to me was a better example. There was a little bit of lead work that was impressive. I heard a sweep and an arpeggio, both in that song. Still a little bit too much of the but some cool effects in there as well. I liked that a little bit. I think if there would have been about 25% more lead work, because they had that almost that low, almost country-esque quote unquote lead in there. Pretty interesting. And I would have preferred more. I do like that there were different movements. It was a kind of soundtrack-esque in pieces. But yeah, man, that was pretty cool. I would probably recommend that to somebody who was looking for some guitar music. A lot of this, I'm really surprised. If you've not listened to the show before, you know that I've not heard these songs before now. So a lot of this is really soundscape music, really soundtrack-esque kind of moment setting kind of things. That's not what I was expecting at all. And it's interesting, but I was really thinking there was going to be some shred mania. The off rhythms and all that stuff is definitely here, and the weird noises. I kind of expected that as well, but some of these are big, like bold soundtrack-esque kind of thing. So it's kind of thrown me for a loop here. I'm like, wow, I don't know what to say, but that was really cool. Because creating emotion and textures with your music is pretty important to me, especially in this kind of music. And some of these bands are pretty good at it. Some of them are okay at it. But I was looking for some guys who were just throwing around some crazy leads and manic stuff. Like, I know the guitar solos went away for a while. They weren't very cool, but I was hoping for more soloing and more. Some of the music earlier, like I said, it was kind of like the Muzak. It's kind of like jazzy, acceptable ear candy. And then some of this stuff has turned into kind of dark domain, kind of scary movie stuff. I don't know. We'll see what Immensivity has for us. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out after the song. We'll find out right now on the Soundcheck.
This is Cadaveria from Cadaveria Band, and you are listening to the Metal Moose.
Imestivity, that was more my style. I liked that back to the kind of elevator kind of guitar thing like I was talking about earlier. That was ear candy. It was really acceptable. The tones were nice. The leads were cool. It had enough of that little weird effects into it to make it, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but it was a good condiment to what was going on. I liked that a lot. And I hate to say it, but there have been a few songs that we played that it just didn't work for me. And I'm such a, quote unquote metal dude, but some of the darker kind of stuff is not that exciting to me because I'm so used to dark being associated with extremity as opposed to just kind of like a, soundscape kind of a deal. I like it, but man, I want some, throw down some extreme leads on me, but I like that a lot. I would wear that shirt. That's something I would play to somebody and go, now listen to this. This is pretty cool. And it's also one of those things that I think a non-quote metalhead could listen to and respect. Some of this music, I think that you, there's no way you could play this to a AOR listener and they're like, wow, that was amazing. Or a non-musician and they're like, hey, that was really good. Some of it, like that last tune, I think you could play to just about anybody and they would be like, that was, nice and that was pleasant and I can deal with that. And don't get me wrong, because sometimes the most exciting music is totally unpleasant. So I haven't run across a real chaotic one yet in the show yet. Which is something I'm waiting for, to just hear a song and go, what just happened, and that hasn't come across yet. So we'll find out about that. My name is Moose. This is Soundcheck coming to you from the Moose Pit Studios. It's about 4:15 a.m. doing the show late tonight. I went and got the rest of my sleeve worked on today. So I'm probably 50 or 60% done with the sleeve on my left arm. So I'm freshly inked. I went to Tornado Tattoo, which is the only place I go. Josh Poindexter is the man. So I was having a little trouble sleeping because it was, feeling awesome, especially right there in the ditch. If you've ever got a tattoo in the ditch, you know that sucks real bad. So anyway, freshly inked. Make sure and check out Tornado Tattoo if you're in Oklahoma City and you want some amazing stuff. If you go see Josh, make sure and tell him Moose sent you. We've been good friends for, 3-4 years now. So, yeah, man, check it out. Coming up next is a band called Meta. Not like the data, but actually like the data. It's Meta on Soundcheck. Let's get it on.
moose is loose.
All right, man. Pretty cool. That was a nice tune. I liked the mix. That was kind of a half and half, kind of a soundscape, half kind of rip it up, weird noise, good mixture of things there. See, I kind of liked that one because it had a little bit of kind of everything. It didn't have a whole lot of that. Of course, the end there was that super nice clean outro. It didn't have a lot of the jazz feel to it that we've had on some of the tunes tonight, but I really liked it. That's something I would probably pass along to somebody. Check this out. It was not super stupendous, amazing. I'm laying on the floor in fetal position because that guy just shred me to death, which I'm waiting for. Man, am I waiting for some shred. I got to be honest with you. During the course of the show, I totally thought that I was just going to be annihilated by just some. I'm going to go ahead and do some up-picking string skip arpeggiatic, key of G flat with my third toe on my left foot, and then we're going to go ahead and play some alternate pick muted with my other foot while I eat a carrot, kind of a thing, and I haven't really had that yet. Now there's been some great licks here and there, but it's I'm learning as I'm doing this. This, of course, I'm showing my age, and this is not so much about rip and shred as it is textures and arrangements and stuff like that, which is fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I kept thinking to myself, man, I'm going to hear some just stupendous guitar playing, and I haven't been blown away yet. So hopefully we can get there. This next band I've actually heard before on the Metal Moose show, and I like them a lot. They're called Second to Sun, and if I want to say they're Russian for some reason, that's my inner voice is telling me they're from Russia, but I could totally be wrong. A song called Red Snow. The whole CD, or as the older people like myself say, the whole album is really good. It's a good put it in and drive kind of, and it's driving. It's more of a hard rock kind of a deal. I wouldn't call it gent in any manner. It's just hard rocking instrumental stuff with some super great licks, some good leads, nice stuff. So I can tell you before we even get into the song that I'm all about some Second to Sun, and I would love a t-shirt if you guys would send me one. I would so wear it and tell people. I tell people anyway, but it'd be cool to have a shirt. So yeah, I'm into shirts. If you guys don't know that yet, I have a shirt addiction. It's a cross I bear. It's just one of those things. Make sure and give us your comments on the show. I know I seem a little downtrodden tonight. My voice is giving out, and I'm kind of disappointed in the lack of shred. So, but we'll do it again. We're going to keep doing this until I find my favorite instrumental gent or whatever, because I love this kind of stuff. So, yeah, don't be mistaken. I'm having fun. I'm just kind of beat Red Snow by Second to Sun on Soundcheck. Yes, sir. And that concludes the my voice. That concludes the instrumental very first show I've ever done without any lyrics at all. There was some sort of Russian grunting going on there in the Red Snow. Yeah, man, so that Red Snow was a really, really good example of a mixture of the metal and the soundtrack kind of thing. Very cool. There wasn't any jazz or much what I would call djent kind of stuff in there. There was some definite blast beats going on. But yeah, it was a fun show, kind of a learning experience, to be honest with you. That's not what I expected out of this show at all. I mean, I found some really cool stuff. I found some stuff that I just wasn't interested in. If you want to, make a soundtrack or whatever, that's great. I totally appreciate that. But to me, as a single listening experience, some of it did not work for me. Some of it is amazing, of course. Second to Sun and Machine in the Mountain and I Built the Sky, and I love that stuff. So, and I've been listening, I've been gathering more of this, finding the indie version of this kind of music is an interesting task, especially finding it with good enough production to be on the show. So yeah, I mean, we're going to keep doing it. If you know of a band that's instrumental or djent or whatever the hell, we're going to do a djent with vocals show pretty soon. We'll explore the djent thing going on out there. So yeah, I found a lot of it that was non-instrumental with vocals. So yeah, we're going to keep doing it. If you know somebody that's in a band that wants to be on the show, make sure and tell them to hit us up, moose@themetalmoose.com. We take anything from rock to grindcore. We like it all. We like even industrial and punk rock. So if it jams, man, we're going to play it. So yeah, hope you guys have had a great time. I say it every show. I'm going to say it again. You wake up, you kick ass, you be kind, you repeat. That's how you take care of everybody, man. You can change somebody's entire world just by smiling at them. That's a big power and a big responsibility you have in your hands. So take advantage of it and be good to somebody. It will always do you well in the end, man. Thanks so much for listening to the show. The show is just getting more popular all the time. Of course, we've been around since 2014. So longevity is definitely here, and also I think consistency of me being a moron kind of helps the show. So I want to say thank you. Hold on real quick. I need to look it up because I got a pretty cool a listener text in from Las Vegas. Dawn Marie, thank you very much from Las Vegas for texting on the text line. You can text in as well and tell us where you listen from. The number is 424-666-7356. You can text 24/7 365. It's not going to wake me up, I promise. It's a business number, so it doesn't even bother my phone. So thank you, Dawn Marie from Las Vegas, and everybody listening wherever you're listening from. The show is on multiple radio stations worldwide, France, UK, Italy, stations in those places carry the show, and also multiple amazing stations here in the United States: Crave Radio, Boston Rocks Radio, Indie Rage, man, IXR. Did I say Boston Rocks? Did I say 102.7 WSNR? Another one. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how many people hear this show all over the globe every week. We do it twice a week. We do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And yeah, so you can get a bunch of new music, about 30 bands a week, if you listen to Soundcheck. And we love you, man. It's awesome. You guys mean a lot to me. Thanks. I can't wait to hear from you. And until the next show, we'll see you later.
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.